Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. Let's take a look at the forecast for the moon transiting Leo on Tuesday, October 14th. Inspires controlled creativity and powerful passion, which can change and transform your life when you balance your masculine and feminine energy and tame your shadow with the strength and compassion of love. As the moon forms a mystic rectangle aspect pattern with Venus in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, and Neptune in Aries conjunct Saturn in Pisces, which sits at the base of a castle aspect pattern, directing the power of the mystic rectangle toward Uranus in Gemini at the peak of the castle. Venus exited the Earth sign of Virgo and has entered the Venus-ruled air sign of Libra, and Pluto has come out of retrograde, which makes the trine aspect between Venus and Pluto in early degrees highly potent and magnetic in matters of relationship or future designing strategy. The moon square to Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio and square to Chiron in Aries, while Chiron also participates in a grand cross with the Sun in Libra, Jupiter in Cancer, and Pluto in Aquarius, indicates you have the courage to face your fears now because you really have no better option. Not only does avoidance or a defeatist attitude irritate you now, but you don't want to give anyone who said you couldn't do something the satisfaction of being right or the chance to say, I told you so. Your desires will motivate you to confront your challenges with an inner strength and the courage of your convictions, which can make you appear bigger and braver than the average mortal. But if you can't or won't play the role of king, queen, or hero, then your heart is not in it. In the words of Emily Dickinson, the heart wants what it wants, or else it does not care. And over here, as we look at the chart for the day, we've got Venus at that 0 degrees 58 minutes of Libra, so it's just entered in. Pluto, 1 degree, it has come out of retrograde, 1 degree 22 minutes. Neptune now is hanging out at 0 degrees 11 minutes of Aries, and it is retrograding, and it will be moving back into Pisces to join Saturn in Pisces. Let's see, when does Neptune make that changeover? Not until here we go. Neptune re-enters Pisces on the 22nd of October. So we have another week, and it's going to occur right after that new moon of the 21st, that we have that shift back into Pisces energy with both Neptune and Saturn. Right now we have the last little bit of juice getting squeezed out of that fire of Aries with the planet Neptune, and then Neptune will be going back into its sign. It belongs to Pisces. And we'll see how we feel when we have harmony in element and in sign with those two planets. They aren't the happiest planets together. The one thing that they do share, I find, is longevity. Saturn is a planet of endurance, but it's very realistic. Neptune also plays the long game. Neptune, at least from the romantic perspective, wants to stay in love forever, tick off the anniversaries on the calendar, have the babies and the grandbabies and the extended family, and gather all the memories that elapse over time. So both these planets are playing a long game in terms of the energy that they impart. But Saturn is the realist, Neptune is the idealist, and right now they've been a little bit at odds, not just with how they perceive the world or how they influence us to perceive things in our lives, but we've had the mix of water and fire, and Neptune particularly, feeling the heat with Aries energy, the fire of Aries, with a planet that is basically very watery in nature and rules a water sign. Although I would think maybe Neptune's a little more the ether, because of its spiritual association, but it does rule a water sign. And they are big players in a grand trine and a kite, as well as the mystic rectangle and the castle. And we have another grand trine and kite set up going on here with the moon today at the top of a kite, moon in Jupiter. Yesterday the moon was still in Cancer. Today it's moved on to Leo. Loose conjunction, but as the day goes on, the moon pulls further away from Jupiter. So moon in early degrees of Leo, Venus in early degrees of Libra, Neptune at 0 degrees. All of that new beginning energy is present today. This feeling of wanting to initiate and start something. Yes, there's challenge or blockage or resistance that can come from that grand cross going on, particularly the Sun and Chiron not getting a lot of support. At least the moon and Pluto can tap into the mystic rectangle and create a mind over matter passion and courage to go for something, to determine that yes, this is the thing, this is the person, this is what I want, that's the job, that's the place where I want to live. So there may be some very strong fixed energy coming through today, as well as the cardinal energy that's coming from Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Venus in Libra, that Libra energy where you know what you want. Now it's about going and getting it. But the Sun and Chiron, this is where you have to control yourself and get into harmony and alignment with the masculine and the feminine energy of the lights, the moon and the sun, and bring that energy into balance. You have to become whole within yourself and accept your darkness as well, your shadow, tame that shadow. The tarot card, the Strength, seemed like the perfect symbolism for today, that basically you have that ability, you have that power to utilize the favorable aspects that are supporting you toward change, as Uranus is at the top of that castle there. And uniqueness, individuality, being okay with who you are is also very important right now. Not being entirely dependent upon, I don't know, your neighbors, your friends, your family, the larger group, your one-on-one relationships, your romantic relationship, that at the end of the day, even though it's wonderful to have all of those different relationships, which is, of course, what Venus in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, and Uranus in Gemini are telling you, meet new people, have more people, enjoy the people that you already know, focus on the people, those communicative air signs. But the top of the kite here is Saturn and Neptune. The top of the kite over here, Moon and Jupiter. And yes, you do need to interact with other people, but ultimately that grand cross is saying you have to be okay by yourself as well. You have to not be empty inside and looking for somebody else to come and fill that within you. You have to basically, we come down to the whole issue of self-love, self-worth, self-esteem, and the moon in Leo can definitely enable you to tap into that love for yourself so that you have that to share with other people and you're not just coming from a place of need or lack. So that self-confidence, that self-worth, We don't have any Taurus energy right now, and Taurus does rule the second house of self-worth, self-esteem, and personal values. But we do have the Scorpio energy opposite, and that is where we merge our boundaries and share our assets with others, and our values are shared with Scorpio energy. And that is where Mars, the planet of action, and Mercury, the planet of thought and communication, are joined right now in that boundary merging or protecting and defending sign. And it's very perceptive. So you most likely, as the moon squares Mercury and Mars, are going to pick up vibes. However, you still have to be true to your own heart and follow through on what your values are and what is important to you. Jupiter is backing up those planets through a trine. If you are empty, if you are lacking, then you don't have anything to be giving or sharing with others. Focus on yourself, focus on your desires today, focus on bringing the energy within you into balance so that you are as whole and complete as you possibly can feel at this point in time. And then you can address the issues of, well, what do you want to do in this relationship? Or what do you want to do in this job? Or what do you want to do about where you're living? Whatever the issue is. And there may be multiple issues because a grand square, grand cross, is tapping into the four corners there. And then we have the four corners of the mystic rectangle, and we've got that planet of change and the future right there at the top of it all. So that's the direction that you're heading in, but it isn't a dual sign, and a sign where you have to consider the options and where you have to keep your mind open and consider that there may be more than one thing to choose from, and that you have to tune in to the heart and figure out what can you live with, what can you not live with. Because ultimately, while Venus is opposing Neptune and it is exact, there can be some sacrifice that has to be made in order to get what you want. It may not be absolutely ideally perfect, but it may be the best that you are able to manifest at this time. And in order to move forward, there may be some release and letting go because of that big red X that's there in that mystic rectangle. Jupiter opposing Pluto, Moon opposing Pluto, Venus opposing Saturn and Neptune. That's all right, because when you empty out for what's coming next, then you make that space and that room for it, and you're ready to accept it and to move ahead. Well, that is it for today. Take care, stay safe, and I'll be back again tomorrow.